What's up, friends? I'm Jonathan Miller, and welcome back to Jonathan Miller Music, where we help each other become better artists. Red Velvet vocal queen Wendy has finally made her highly anticipated solo comeback with Wish You Hell, selling over 95,000 copies in its first 3 days. If you're new to the series, today we're going through Wendy's second mini album, discussing its track listing, productions, genres and influences, and more, in order to see how this album breaks down and comes together. So hit the like button if you enjoyed the series, and subscribe if you're new. Also, leave me a comment with your thoughts on the album and which songs are your favorites. With that out of the way, here is my album review and genre deconstruction of Wish You Hell by Wendy. Wish You Hell is a Kenzie written bop that I loved from the very first listen. Kenzie never ceases to be a fire songwriter in K-pop, and Wish You Hell is another example of that. It's got a throwback feel, but it doesn't heavily rely on nostalgia to be its selling point. It's got Wendy's beautiful vocals, and also has some grit to it from the guitar and the bass, and its overall production style. And I think it makes for a strong album opener because of its message, which is echoed throughout the rest of the record. It's a self-empowerment anthem, but it doesn't feel too anthemic to come across as maybe cheesy. Not that I personally have an issue with that style, but I know that many people do. Personally, I always think that self-empowerment songs are necessary, and overall good doses of serotonin from time to time, but I know that other people cringe at that, which is kind of why I like the edge that this song has. It's a kiss-off track to the people pleaser within ourselves, rather than trying to get even with an ex or a bully or something. Vocally, it showcases her range, even though we know she can definitely hit higher. Looking at you, really bad boy. But above all, it's just really nice to hear her sing something up-tempo. As gorgeous as her voice is on the ballads, we know Wendy can sing, so I love hearing her do something more upbeat for a title track. I love that Wendy did an all-English language song on this album. Her tone is always magnetic, but it hits especially well when she sings in English. Her voice feels more round. Her smaller riffs and runs create ear butter note patterns that are subtle but create such fluidity. I love this song as a track too, because as a song that's got dream pop and R&B as its building blocks, following the first song, it makes this one stand out. It's catchy, it soars in all the right places. His Car Isn't Yours is definitely one of the stronger B-sides on this album, and again was an instant favorite for me. The lyrics talk about wanting to open up to a new relationship while still not quite being over the previous one, and I like how this song sort of explores that fragile moment in the grieving process. Overall, it's just really nicely written, and you can show off songs that you've written with DistroKid. DistroKid is one of the leading music distributors on the market, helping artists like you and me get our music up on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, Tidal, and more. For one small yearly price, you'll be able to drop as much music as you can create without breaking the bank. Depending on which plan you decide is the best fit for you, you'll also gain access to a wide library of additional features aimed at helping you grow, promote, and manage your music career. One such feature is synced lyrics. I get asked all the time to add my lyrics to Spotify, and I couldn't because the feature wasn't available at the time for some of my releases, but now it is. With synced lyrics, you can get the words of your tracks playing in time with your music on places like Spotify and Instagram. Start by adding your plain lyrics, then you can go ahead and sync them with your track using the spacebar to time things correctly. If you mess up, you can always start over, which is really helpful. Then your lyrics will be synced in time for your fans to learn and enjoy. So use my special VIP link to save yourself 7% on your first year's membership with DistroKid. Link is in the description. Best Ever is a nice dose of lightness following the first two songs. It's got some nice jazz influences that are very complimentary to Wendy's voice. While it might not be the most vocally dynamic song I've heard from Wendy, I definitely don't think it's forgettable. It's got a strong hook and continues that self-empowerment theme. It's happy, but not cheesy. It's feel-good music, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The album's first ballad is built around a guitar strum and highlights Wendy's more traditional style vocals. It absolutely could be a Red Velvet song, especially with that pop chorus. I can just hear Irene and Joy in the background on the harmonies, serving the best supporting vocals. The harmonies are just on point. When I first hit play, I wasn't sure exactly how it was gonna progress, but then we got that big chorus and I'm so glad we did. I still would have loved to have heard more of her Red Velvet style ad-libs in the climax, but it's still a very nice track. It's a nice dip in energy to begin the second half of the album, but it also doesn't take away the power. Basically, it's a really good balance. I've said it once and I will say it again. I love Wendy on these up-tempo songs. Her voice hits all the pop notes, and while I think the song could have benefited from some more harmony stacking, especially in the chorus to make it feel just a little bit larger, it's still a bop that I'm gonna put on repeat. Wendy can sing ballads. I'm not trying to bash on her doing ballads. It's just that we know she can sing. She doesn't have to prove that. So it's nice to hear her do more up-tempo songs in her solo stuff now, and have her deliver some of the goods that we've seen her do with Red Velvet. Again, it's a nice track placement. It's a good lift in energy before the final song. This is a very cohesive record with a lot to enjoy about it. Even if not every song is your favorite, it's smooth, and I like that. The final track, Vermilion, is an R&B pop song with that larger chorus that I wanted in Queen of the Party. It's got some cinematic elements to create an epic finale, coupled with sweet electric keyboards to create just a lot of cool moments. These are the belts and the high notes that I was missing from some of the other songs. And this is why I like listening to an album in track order, because you get such a clearer view of what the artist's intentions were with the album. This album is a great example of where certain songs lack, other songs make up the difference. It's a great way to put an exclamation mark at the end of Wish You Hell without just tacking on a bonus track or some sort of ballad at the end. It's very clever. This album contains few genres and influences, and while it might not be the most adventurous or abstract K-pop album I've ever heard, I don't really think it's intended to be. So here's how I'd break it down. I'd say its umbrella genre is K-pop like always, but you know we can go further. I'd put its subgenre as R&B, which is also really common these days in K-pop. All of the songs sit neatly in the R&B umbrella and fuse other elements with that bass structure, and Wendy's voice lends itself well to the genre anyway. I'd say its niche is dance pop. While not every song is 100% dance pop like Teenage Dream, for example, Wendy utilizes more upbeat and anthemic choruses to give life to her less energetic sections in the same song. In other words, this album is a vibe, but it's also kind of a party. I'd put its micro niche as jazz. While this album doesn't go out of its way to make its jazzy instrumentations and occasional bluesy style vocals the center point, jazz is still underneath most of the track layers to really accentuate its R&B stylings, since the two genres are related, giving us a K-pop album with influences of electropop, dream pop, and blues, utilizing predominantly R&B productions and jazz instrumentations in conjunction with dance pop style choruses to highlight its vocals and lyrics, depicting an overall self-empowerment theme of letting go of who you used to be and embracing who you are now. If you like rich, smooth female vocals and an occasional dose of feeling good about yourself in the lyrics, then this album is for you. I love seeing Wendy come into her own more as a soloist and hear her do more vibrant music that we don't always get to see in Red Velvet. So if you're ready to say goodbye to a past version of yourself in a celebratory fashion, stream Wendy's second mini album Wish You Hell immediately.